Welcome to the Find Your Zero podcast.
Yeah.
Got a name. Had an episode with the Jeff Lavicchio, and it came out organically, which is my favorite. I love it when it just fucking comes. No pun intended on that one. Gross. But I do also enjoy that. That's also awesome. Jackman extraordinaire. No guests today. We're going to talk to the OG, the one, the only, Jackman. Producer, wearer of boots and skull caps.
That's right.
Ears aren't cold today, though, so it's okay.
No, yeah. Just
Yeah, it's a style. It's a style. I get it. It's a style, and it works for you. You pull it off.
Thank you.
Bart Pietrzak, owner, operator of, CEO of Project Power Gym. What is up? I haven't spoken to you in a while. A lot has probably happened in the last 3 weeks in your life because you're young in the entrepreneurship journey. So I want to know, dude, you tell me, what's up?
Yeah, dude, I've picked up 3 clients, I think, since
dude, and before our little break of talking, that was a big kind of point of topic, right? Because you were like, do I market?
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
No marketing. Well, I'm a part of go to a men's group, so one of these is a referral.
The Omen Coffee group, right? The men's group. Yeah, dude, that looks dope. There's like 70 people there.
Yeah, it's fucking.
It's getting
sick.
big.
Yeah, it's the real deal.
I'm happy for them. Those are good dudes doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't know. That's what you were been talking about this whole time. You didn't mention it one time. You kept saying like, I got a group.
That's a different group.
Oh,
Different group. No.
Multiple
So
groups.
A year and a half.
You're
ago,
a groupie.
No, man. But every relationship that I have now is with intention, whereas before it wasn't. And
so just use people now is what you're saying.
Right. I'm Machiavellian. Yeah, exactly. I'm climbing to the top, man.
I'm going to use all you bastards as step stools.
Yeah, that's
perfect.
Right. Hurt people as much as you can. When we say find
your zero. Like that's a person who you're going to use and abuse.
And take all their juice out of them until they're at zero.
They weren't zero before you found them.
Yeah,
but after you, they're at zero.
They were killing it, and then you came in. So some referrals. That's one. I've got another guy who I met through a retreat that I've told you about of the Smart People Retreat.
Yeah.
I call it. And
Smart People Retreat.
And my third client. Who's my third client then? And then some others that I just reached out to, and really what I just do now is like I offer help. I'm like, oh, here's a few improvements you can make. You know?
Same thing you did with me.
So, yeah, that's it.
Right?
That's it. Like that's scalable within St. Louis. That's.
Bro, as a business owner, I will tell you, like, obviously social media is the number one marketing tool because it's communicative immediately. But I will also tell you that it's also absolutely absurdly, overdone, right? It's flooded. It's saturated is the word. It's oversaturated with people reaching out and trying to get you to do this, that, or the other thing. So from my perspective, the fastest way to actually connect to me is get to know my company legitimately, get through all of the content that I have legitimately, read the captions, watch the videos, find out about me, and then genuinely see if you can see an improvement that you can make. And then don't be scared to give me that answer for free, because although you could have made X dollars off of that idea alone, getting in with me could generate you insurmountable amount more, right? So you're afraid to give any info out for free. You got to sign up with me for me to give you my idea. If I get someone reaching out to me and says, hey, I can improve your website, I'm like, oh, dope, how? And they're like, well, for $1,000 a month, I'll show you. Man, fuck you. Fuck you, dude. But if he goes, hey, actually, I found this thing. I see this little hiccup in your website. I actually already solved it for you. Here you go. And I go, oh, shit. It is way better. What else can they do? Right? That's just, Jeff talked about it. Like he spoke in front of people for free until they started paying him to do it. Right? And so, okay, so you got those 3 clients and you did it that way.
Yep.
All right. Yep. So how did the rest of that go?
And I did it for offer to do some stuff for free, and they're like, it's just like it's almost inevitable if they're already on that, if they're already with the intention that they're moving forward with a podcast, and then you come in and you do some work for free, and it's going to be good. Obviously, like that's a not a non-negotiable. I don't know what word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
No brainer.
It's a no-brainer. It's like that's already part.
I'm already doing it.
Yeah.
You just take it off my plate a little bit.
Make it valuable for them, and then they just
What-
they can see the results.
What makes it valuable for them?
Well, these guys, some of them, they weren't even doing video. And then, like, when I bring video in, what it does is, like, this is their funnel right there. And then when I bring video in, it opens their funnel up like that, because now they can go to social media. Now they can post, across the whole content machine. Whereas before, it's like, make a post, hey, our podcast is out, and then that's all they have.
That's right.
So
people are visual. It's funny though, because if you're an avid podcast consumer, I don't watch podcasts. I listen to them. The video might be playing, but it's while I'm driving, so it's just sitting there, right? So I rarely watch any podcasting. However, when I'm, let's say, scrolling Instagram and a Rogan episode like flashes before my eyes with somebody, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know Rogan did that. If it was just a post that said Rogan has X, Y, and Z on this, I wouldn't care.
Right.
But because I visually see that person, I'm like, oh shit, I'm interested. So it is really just more the commercial of the podcast is the video, and the meat and potatoes is the audio, obviously, right? But you're right. If you don't have the commercial for it, like your cost of entry is way too high to grab attention non-visually in today's day and age is not going to happen. Like print isn't going to do it anymore.
Right. And it might take me 30 shorts before I decide, oh, you know what? Maybe I will check this person's. Like, I've been seeing them around.
Oh, yeah.
It'll take me 30 times.
Absolutely.
Seeing them,
Absolutely. Well, those shorts are just, I mean, they're bait, man. Like, that's all it is, right? It's like, hey, this 3-sentence, 2-minute thing was that valuable to you. What do you think the rest of the hour could be like?
Right.
But again, without that short, without that video, like, you're just not interested. And that's just the day and age we're at right now.
Yep.
Same thing with the gym, bro. Like, I'm not a flashy person personally. Like, you don't see me. I don't have jewelry. Like, I'm not a flashy person. But my gym is hella fucking flashy. You think that's by accident?
No.
Right? Like, I get it. I understand it. And every person, even if you're not flashy, enjoys the visual aspect of satisfying yourself visually. Right? Those stupid little fucking videos where it's just like 3D animated spheres that like mold into one another, or like, you ever seen those? Random shit that's like, here's this circle and it perfectly fits in this hole, and then there's no purpose, and they're like satisfying, and I'm like, it is, and I don't know why, and it's stupid, and I just wasted 10 seconds, and but that's just our psyche that I don't have enough knowledge to explain, but it is what it is. And
you know what they say about like dating? If a guy goes up to a girl, you have like 15 seconds before she decides whether or not she's interested in you or not.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't hear that. I've never heard that.
Yeah, maybe that's completely wrong.
Where'd you hear that?
Probably through a short. Of some
Yeah,
sort.
right. Exactly. Well, I mean, that's not really. I don't think it pertains to dating. I think that's just literally anything. You've always heard, "Don't judge a book by its cover." Why? Because we judge books by their cover.
Yeah.
Everything that we do is. It's innately human to, he's doing something behind me, isn't he?
Isn't that so funny? That we were just
fucking Jono. We'll have him on the show here soon.
Yeah, you need to.
Anyway, so it's innately human for like a experience of self to diagnose situations quickly. Is this dangerous? Is this potentially harmful? Yeah. Is this potentially gainful? Is this something I really want to do? Everybody does that with everything they encounter. Oh, is that couch? That looks comfy. I should sit. Like, that happens. Oh, that's comfy. It's all ripped up. It's probably gross. I don't want to sit.
Yep.
You have to judge it. You can't be like, I'll let the couch tell me after I sit on it if it's comfortable or not. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this hole is dark and scary. Don't step in it. Like, oh no, I'll step in it, and then I'll let the hole tell me like if it's dark and scary. So this whole like, oh, I don't judge anything. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. What you can do is assess your judgment off the bat and be like self-reflective on it and go, hey, should I uphold this judgment that I have, or should I try to see if it's real or not? But that's okay. That's an honest depiction of what happens. But to say like, oh, I don't judge anybody or anything, like you're full of shit. You're absolutely full of shit. You aren't going to go down a fucking dark ass alley in a fucking place you've never been and go shake hands with everybody you meet in there. You're not going to do it. You're not going to feel safe. You're not going to feel safe. You're not. Unless you've been on that hallway or alleyway 100 times.
Then you're not judging a book by its cover anymore. You've been reading the contents of it.
You got it. You know the meat and potatoes.
Yep.
But to say I don't judge is bullshit. So and that's all social media is an instant judgment, and you can't fault people. They say comparison is the thief of joy and all that, right? Yeah, but like you can't stop that, dude. You can't stop comparison.
Who do you compare yourself to?
That's a great question. I compare myself to what's possible, and I try to bridge the gap between what I'm doing and what's possible. So I don't ever look at a person and see what they're doing, because I know that my judgment of them it is irrelevant. It's not real. It's skewed, right? If I see a couple kissing on the internet, right? Everybody extrapolates from that point. They take that as a jumping off point, and then they create an entire story based off of that judgment. Oh, they're kissing. They must love each other. Loving each other must mean that they spend time together. Spending time together must mean they enjoy spending time together. Spending time together with joy means they have a lot of happy memories and they love each other and they do this together. You got that off of one picture of kissing. You've never kissed someone without an emotion. You've never kissed somebody surface level. Isn't that not possible? Of course it's possible. Mm-hmm. Right? Where the fuck did the rest of that story come from? Why did you judge the book by its cover? Why? Because we're built to. So instead of saying, I'm not going to judge that, just recognize that you have a belief system that's triggered by a visual aspect, but then be aware enough to know that what you're looking at is all that there is for you to know. Like, there is nothing else for you to know outside of that one picture, because you cannot extrapolate everything based off of that picture. But you can choose to if you want to, because it could save you or harm you based off of your own, humanistic tendencies. So just like everything else, yin and yang, that judgment sometimes saves us from extreme peril, and then sometimes it throws us into extreme peril. The same process. So life is just learning about which one to listen to. Right? Again, you walk in front of that dark alley and you go, I'm scared. I'm probably going to get robbed. Well, then you go, okay, well, Bart, that's an unfair assessment. I don't know anybody in here. Maybe they're just, homeless people who are harmless. Go and walk. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a fair thing to do. You do open yourself up to the possibility of now being mugged, because the probability of this scenario becoming a mugging situation is high, because percentages show that these scenarios cause robberies. Cool. But you also open yourself up to potential of maybe there's a cool fucking bar that's off of one of these doors that you will never, ever meet or ever go to because you're scared of going down this alleyway, right? All that is true. You just have to be okay with the consequences. But don't assume you know the answer because you look down the alley and say, I would have gotten mugged had I walked down there. You can't say that, right? If you keep walking and say, I'm scared of that alley, all you can say is, I saw an alley and I was scared of it. You can't go and say, I almost got mugged. You don't know that. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Right?
Yep.
I saw an alley and I avoided it. You can't say, I avoided a dangerous situation. You don't know that. So it's like, let things be what they are. So if you see someone kissing on the internet, you go, oh, they were kissing in that picture. And that's all you fucking know. And we have a real tough time doing that. Why? Because we have a very tough time being present.
Yep.
Like, we're so fucking addicted to the future, right? We're so addicted to the past. We're so addicted to everything except for the right now that we try to morph our future based off of our past. And we completely fuck up the present, which then dictates the future. And it fucks the whole thing up. So, again, you have to sort of, though, because if I only make choices in the present, like, you're probably going to make poor choices for your future self. So, I mean, I did an entire episode where I spoke on, I'm trying to make the future me proud, right? So, like, if on Monday, I know I'm going to have a tough day, well, I'm going to be nice to the Monday me today by meal prepping, getting all my work done, getting my laundry done, getting everything I need to get done, so that the Monday me has a much easier Monday.
Are you proud of the Bart 5 years ago?
Proud of the Bart 5 years ago. I have no regrets. And the Bart today shits on the Bart 5 years ago in a lot of different aspects. But the Bart 5 years ago was the best Bart that Bart could be at that time. With whatever knowledge he had or ammunition he had or experience that he had, I know for a fact that I may have not been as productive. I may have not has been as efficient. I may not have been as let's say open-minded or knowledgeable, right? I wasn't anything as much as I am now because I've had 5 years to keep that process going. But at that time, I was 5 years better than the 5 years before that. So proud is yeah, dude. I'm proud of myself. I am. It's tough for a man to say that specifically because, again, contentment for us is like an evil concept. Like we can't be content. Content means death, and it's true. Like if you're not progressing, you're dying. Like that's human. That's life, right? A thing grows or it dies. Like that, it eats or it dies. Like that's just the way it is. But being proud of yourself, I think, has a lot more to do with not the outcomes that you've achieved, but rather the honest growth that you've been able to master, I would say. I think that's a good way to put it. Because you become more enlightened to your own decisions the longer you do them. Because you tend to stop being as justifying of your decisions the longer you do them. You become much more honest with yourself.
You're saying you stop needing to justify your decisions the longer you do them?
You stop, I would say this, you stop believing your own bullshit.
Got you.
You stop believing your own bullshit. If you bullshit yourself enough, you stop listening to it after a while and go, that's just me being a fucking bitch.
Some people do and some people don't, right?
I think everybody does, except some people do it when they're 80.
Yeah.
75, you know. There comes a time where, like, when you're born, value is placed on a shit ton of different things. As you get older, the value funnel of what potentially is valuable in the world, I think, dwindles down to a single value, and that's time. I believe every single person whose time is running out, and as they become more aware of their time running out, places a majority of their value on time. And as you put your majority value on time, you disassociate the value of stupid things that seem meaningless when time is the most important, which includes relationships with people, spending time places you don't want to spend time, having conversations you don't want to have. Like, why do old people have grumpy, right? Because they're not wasting any of their fucking time on anything that they don't want to spend their time on. If they think it's stupid, they're not going to not tell you they think it's stupid. Because they did that for years.
Yeah, they seem, what's funny is like the perception I have of them is that they're stubborn when what it seems like moreover is their just priority is just.
The thing you think they don't see, they not only have already seen, they've experienced and seen the other side that you don't even know exists.
Right.
And so they're like, I'm not even entertaining that thought right now because I lived it for 5 years before you even thought about doing it. And that's the beauty of why it's so important to fucking talk to old people. And nobody talks about that. I consume podcasts and information and books, and only the highest successful people that I know talk about having conversations with old people.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you what my first business venture was?
No.
I took all of this and then I would go to old people, I'd go to nursing homes, and then I would get their life stories and their wisdom and pass it
why
down
did we
to
stop
their family.
that? Because the family didn't want it?
It was, I don't know, maybe it was just because it was my first time trying a business and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and then I hopped into this. But yeah, that's.
I would think twofold why that'd be successful. Number one, truly hungry entrepreneurs that I know who are, past the primordial ooze stage and they're starting to gain a little traction. I mean, their mentors are in the 70s and 80s years old.
A mentor of mine, his mentor is 100.
See?
Yeah.
Secondly, old people want attention. Think about having all of the fucking answers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To all the tests, and no one gives a shit. And then you just see people fucking everything up. And you're like, why doesn't anyone just talk to me? That's why when you like meet an old person, all they want to do is talk.
Yep.
Because they got so much. They got so much. But no one cares because they're so in a rush to find out the answers. And the fucker's like, bro, I got it right here.
These are the same people that are like liking, the posts on Instagram like, one day you're going to miss talking. You know what I mean? It's fucking bullshit.
It is
dude.
bullshit. I mean, the most popular place should be a nursing home.
Right. There's so much wisdom in there.
Bro,
and
even if the times have changed, obviously business specifically with social media and marketing and blah, 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 blah. These people that are 80 years old know one thing better than anybody else, and that's people.
Mm-hmm.
They have experienced people for 80 years. I don't care how good of a businessman you are at 60. They have 20 more years of dealing with people than you do.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to know what they think? Or at the very least, their experience with people so that you can create some sort of structured understanding of what people are really like over long periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going to build a business, why wouldn't I want to build it over a long period of time concept, right? Can I get a person to say yes once? Sure. How valuable is that business? Not very. Can I get them to say yes over 40 years? I'd say that's pretty valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Residual business constantly. So, and I say that by fully admitting I don't talk to old people either. I think I'm going to right now. I just convinced myself.
Yeah.
So there's an idea right there. Extrapolate. I mean, really, if you do think about the shorts or the little Instagram quips that become popular, like there's usually an old person saying it.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because it's
like
so much more wisdom based.
Right. The music in the background.
Yeah. I want to be old already. Like, I want to be that guy. Because there'll be a fucking 20-something-year-old saying the same shit, and you're like, you're full of shit, bro.
Yep.
Like, you've been literally talking to the actual public for 7 years. At 21, like, at 12, you weren't fucking talking to adults, like, you maybe started at 18. So, but that's just another thing that we're all wrapped up in. Why? Because we judge books by the cover. When you look at an old person, they can't move very well. They can't drive very well. They can't go on their expensive Florida trips and jump off, caves and this and that. So, what relatability can I have to that guy? Why would I want? I don't want that old person's life. I mean, if they're fucking pumped about the life they led at 80. I'd say you do.
That's the thing. Like, for me, it's the joy. Like, when I would do these interviews, like, the most intriguing ones, the ones that I liked the most were the ones that still had a passion for life at 80 years old.
Yeah.
Like, they were still crying because they were crying because of how much they appreciate life.
Bro.
It's like, you can't walk away from that and not
be
inspired by that.
I mean, because there's no, like, there's no fabrication of an 80-year-old person.
Right.
Like, there's no makeup or, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. This human being has been here 80 fucking years. And in 80 years, especially with how things have gone, the differences that they have felt and seen. Think about the fear going from, like, 80. What's 80 years ago? Well, I mean, what's that?
80 years ago?
Yeah.
Was 43.
Okay, so you're born in the middle of World War II. Okay? I mean, what do they got? Rotary phones at that time?
Shit, if even that.
Right?
Yeah.
Going from rotary phones to like this in one lifetime? 43, bro, you still had like horses doing shit at places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Carriages and shit. I'm not talking like pre-Model T Ford carriages. I'm saying like there was warehouses where like horses were used to like spin shit and like that.
Yeah. My grandpa rode in a horse-drawn carriage. They were like in Arkansas, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. So from that to this, like, dude, that's a lot, right? So although the subject matter might be different, like, oh, we're gonna go from, kids that have always had a laptop to whatever the fuck the next thing is, like, oh, that's different than what grandpa did. No, you went from like basic shit to extreme shit. And if your basic shit's a laptop, it doesn't matter that his basic shit was a horse. But the difference of where they started to where they are, it's terrifying. You don't know how to handle shit. Like, I'd like to hear what he thinks about that, right? So that I can justify my own fears or thoughts, or I don't know. At the very least, you can understand that our human experience is not void of connection. We're not doing this for the first fucking time.
Hmm.
No matter what's currently happening, right? Oh, AI is, it's revolutionary.
There's revolutionary things
all the time.
Right.
Again, we talked about it like when the printing press was developed, like the world was going to end because so many people's jobs were going to be put down, right? So it's just a hubris that humans have that think they're the most important thing that's ever been, ever. Sorry to break it to you, man. We've been doing this shit for a long time. Long time. So with all that being said, what has that done for you? Those extra 3 clients, where are you at now?
Dude, I'm the most secure. Like, this is the first time I'm like truly in my bones. I'm like, oh, I got this shit. Like,
because you can pay your bills and
I can pay my bills.
You're earning new people,
and like they're sticking around when they come in. Like, I've never been so at peace, I think, before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how do you have a foreshadow for yourself of what's to come from this point?
As far as business goes, as far as
life, business, like yourself, like as your elder, I will tell you that I too have experienced that same feeling, and I'm not here to burst any bubbles, but situations happen where all of that gets fucking tossed away.
But that's like I mean, totally, 100%. I'm not naive to think that there won't be tragedy in my life. And
it's not even tragedy, because this is how business works, and this is why people say it's not personal, because you're putting your passion into what you do. You love the quality of the cameras, the audio, the conversations, this is your thing. You enjoy it, right? And when you sign people and you have a exponential increase in signage or income based off of your passion, you go, I am being validated by the market of my passion. I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm putting it into the market, and people are saying, yes, I like this, and they're giving me money for it. Mm-hmm. What a great, this is awesome. I know I'm going to keep growing, but like, it works. And then all of a sudden, 3 of the biggest ones, all of a sudden, without any real like, hey, we're going to stop. And you're like, what? I thought you loved it. We do. We have nothing bad to say about you whatsoever. We really enjoyed our time together, but we're just not going to do it now. And you're like, oh, fuck. And you go, how? The equation is, I do a good job. You guys enjoy it. You pay me money, and then just where's the end? Why is there an end to that? Just because there's shit that you can't control.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with necessarily your value. Like, there's people here who will, cancel their memberships, right? Well, personally, that's like what the fuck did I do wrong? Well, bro, like, we're an aspect of their life, but you're not someone's whole life. They don't owe their whole life to you either. So when shit hits the fan and this and that has to be done or moved around or whatever, like, you can be cut out from that equation for them in their life without you doing anything wrong, right? They may have fought to keep you in there, but again, there'll be a point where they go, hey, I just can't afford this right now, or I don't have the time to allocate to this right now, or it's not, whatever. And you have to be okay, because that doesn't mean that in 2 months they won't re-sign back up.
Sure.
But if you get so cozy in that spot of like, bro, everything is solved, it works, everything is good, you're going to not be prepared.
Here's where my confidence comes in, and this is what you've echoed, or now I'm echoing what you've said many times, but like, once you learned how that you could, fix a light bulb or something, now I can go and fix things.
That's the healthy point.
I know that even if podcasts were to drop off the face of the earth, I already have proven to myself that I can make relationships, provide value, and get value back.
There you go.
Like,
that's the point I'm trying to get across, is do not tie it to what you're doing.
Right. So when I started working in high school, which was 16, 17 to 2 years ago, 21, 22, like, I had saved up I don't know if I've told you this, but I had saved up like middle five figures. And so
from 16 to now?
Yeah.
Good for you, dude.
And in the last year and a half, I spent it all.
Absolutely, you did.
Like,
shit's expensive.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
Because a building this, everything, whatever. But to me, it kind of seemed like it was a chain almost. It was like a subtle admission to myself that like I'm not sure if I'll be able to get this again, so I need to hold on to this as much as possible. And then once I let go of that, it was like now you have to be confident in yourself. It was a total paradigm shift.
There's a giant conflict that can happen in relationships, whether that be partnerships of a business or marriages or girlfriend, boyfriend, or even your own psyche. When I will tell you that in order to really accomplish anything in a business aspect, you have to be okay. I don't know how to word this. I talked about this yesterday. The fear of losing money can't be there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be okay flying close to zero.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And the people that aren't, because they have anxiety of what if, they'll keep holding on to the pigeonholes that will keep that, let's say, 20, 25, 30 grand in their bank account, right? And they go, well, I can't quit my job because then my 30 grand will go down to 15 if it takes me 6 months to do this.
Right.
And they're like, well, then it's not 30, it's only 15. Well, like, you have to be okay with it being zero. And then you need to be okay with it going back to zero over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Dude, there was a time recently where I was almost making $0.
Yeah, dude, it happens, and it's gonna happen.
Yeah, but I'm not scared of that anymore.
Why?
Because I got through it. Like
figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. But that's terrifying.
Yeah.
For 99.9% of the population, because what have you been told since school and college and then work? It's all about saving and saving and saving and saving and saving and saving. That's all there's ever been. It's on sale. You save 30 cents. Like you don't save 30 cents.
If I wasn't going to spend that.
If I wasn't going to buy it, I would save all of it, right?
Yeah,
like I didn't save anything, right? But that's what we've been bred. So no shit when someone gets a regular 9-to-5 job, instead of going, okay, how can I leverage this to make more money? What they say instead is, how can I save this money and invest it into 401ks and retirement plans and slow earning little interest things so that by the time I'm 65, I have some money.
Fuck that.
Can you imagine if you're, as a business entrepreneur person who's trying to generate money for themselves, was okay with 1% growth? One. Like, you only grew 1%. And I don't know how those things exactly work, but I don't know if it's 1% monthly or 1% yearly. But 1% does not sound very fucking good to me. I feel like I can hustle my way up a little bit more than 1%, right? Okay. Well, that's a completely different paradigm. That's a completely different mindset shift that someone has to have. But then what you associate with that, and you have to be okay with it, is the potential of all that going back to zero a bunch of fucking times. And it's terrifying. And if someone doesn't like it, they're not going to. I am one that is, I wouldn't say reckless, but there's a piece of me that just has such strong belief that I'm going to be okay and I'll figure it out. That, bro, like I'll fly next to that zero, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. As long as there's cash flow and I'm using the money as a productive tool for the business. This is not an example of like I take vacations or I buy myself a car or I buy myself a Rolex and it goes back down to zero and then we stack the cash back up. I'm saying, like, your company's in debt. Use that money, get yourself out of debt so that you can, purely income and like, yeah. It's just most people aren't willing to risk getting that close to zero, and there's a hell of a reward for being brave enough to do that or dumb enough to do that, whichever way you want to look at it, know. I'm not, the guy who runs into the fucking war, you look at him one of two ways. He's brave
or he's crazy
or he's an idiot.
Yeah.
As long as he comes back, does it matter? As long as he fucking wins and triumphant, like, does it matter which one? Does he not get the same accolades?
Seems like
people are afraid to be crazy.
People are definitely afraid to be crazy. Like a good indicator to me of what I'm just thinking out loud here. of like someone that might be a successful entrepreneur is they're both impulsive in a sense, but they're also seeing the long game. Like
well,
at
they're
the same-
intentional with
simultaneously.
their impulsions.
Yes.
They're intentional with their impulsions. What that means is they create an idea or a plan, and then they execute it without necessarily having all the answers, or without having all of the solutions to the problems right off the bat. Right? So they're the like, well, that seems like it might work. Let's try. And everyone else is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Can we just brainstorm a little bit longer? He goes, nah, let's go. Let's figure it out. But if it doesn't work, we'll lose this. Like, yeah, but if it does work, we won't. You know? And that's why people are like, they don't like those people because they're hella uncomfortable to be around, because they don't wait for you to be comfortable. They don't wait around because why? Why wouldn't you want to? Because if it's time to be comfortable with it, you ain't going to be the only one comfortable with it, which means now competition and everybody else is right there with you. How do you set yourself apart there? Right? If there's a beautiful woman in a bar and she's very intimidating, and you wait till a bunch of different dudes start walking up to her because they broke the ice for you, like, what are your chances?
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So, like, you just have to be okay. You just have to be okay with it. And, you know, and that's why these lessons all kind of intertwine. Like, you got to be okay with failure. You got to be okay with, you know, falling on your face and getting back up. And, but that like financial one, that's a big one. That's why a lot of successful businesses have partnerships, is because they have a yin and yang person in charge, right? They have two people, one of which is impulsive and, you know, quote unquote, more reckless. And the other person is like the most uptight, very analytical. And then they even each other out. You know, doing it on your own increases that difficulty, because either you have to try to be both, or you have to trust someone to help you do it not as ownership and still have that relationship with you to be a little bit of a opposite of whatever you are, right? So like, let's say I was the opposite. Let's say I was very analytical, a very Excel spreadsheet, like OCD about where every dollar is going and how it's going and blah, 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 blah. I would need a right-hand person that's the opposite. Yep. I would need them to call me a pussy and, you know, just fucking do it, Bart. Let's go, right? I have the opposite of that. I have a person that's like, hey, Bart, like, listen, why don't we do this for a little bit and be able to do this, this, and this before we do that? Like, that would make more sense before we take another jump. And they're like, oh, come on, you guys, let's go. And then I sit down, like, you know what? They're probably right. Let's slow it down. But if I have enough conviction, that won't stop me, right? And that's why it works really well. It flows. But yeah, you can't be afraid of that zero. We're just gonna run that topic of zeroness.
Fuck yeah.
That's our thing now.
Zero's the theme, man.
Zero's the fucking thing.
We didn't even. Maybe you tried. I don't think we even tried to make that zero connect.
So
that's crazy.
Find your zero. What it originally came from was, when you get good at something, go find something you're not good at. And that's how you keep leveling up, right? So if you have 99% proficiency in something, go find something you got 0% in and you know, start over. But now it means like your actual fucking bank account.
Yeah. Find another zero.
Find another zero, bro.
I mean,
I'm putting that on shirts. We're going to do that. I'm going to have
fire.
Project Power, a little logo in the corner, and then find your zero on the back.
Fire.
Yeah.
Find your zero or find another zero?
Find another zero.
Okay.
Yeah. I like it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. So with that, then we'll wrap it up here. What time we got? We got about 10 more minutes. With that, then, are you continuing the same concepts of growth, or are you in maintenance mode, or are you in still trying to sign new clients mode?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'm in maintenance mode. Like, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I'm in maintenance mode of, you know, using the sales term upselling, but essentially making the podcast better, like providing more and more value for each client and seeing how fucking good I can make this for each person.
Okay, so you're not actively trying to get new people. You're just now trying to blow up the people you've got.
Yeah.
Which in turn will get you more people.
Yeah. And if I get new people, cool. Like, I'm not going to deny.
Not going to say no?
Yeah.
Okay. How far are you until you're full?
Probably like 3 more.
3 more people? How's that other person working out that you had with you?
The editor that I have?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, everything
Saving
going
me a
good?
fuck ton of time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you guys are, like, because I know at one point you had a tough time because, like, he knows how to edit better than I do, so you didn't necessarily implement your own standards. because you're like, I'll let his standards be the standards because he's the editor.
Yeah, and I would still say, like, I think my standards are going to be higher than. I think I have the right, or I have the right standard, like as far as which clips to pick out. Let's say if he's picking clips, yeah, I've realized that I still hold the authority there.
And have you pushed that on him?
I've pushed it more so. No, not yet. I don't think. No.
Why not?
I think I've gotten comfortable with him taking over because he's doing one client that does 5 podcasts a week, and so.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. This
5 episodes a week?
Yeah, he's a Canadian. He's an animal. But that's what my contractor is working for, solely him right now, and I don't know. I don't think I have a good answer to that other than I just take up time that I'm allocating otherwhere.
Well, are you quality controlling him?
Yes.
So wouldn't that be implying your standard?
Yeah. So I guess what I would have to do is a significant amount of my time would be taken up finding the right sections of the podcast for him to do, whereas right now he's solely the one that goes and finds the sections in the podcasts. And like, if I was doing this full time, I would be spending 5 hours a day, every single day, on this podcast alone.
Gotcha.
Probably more than.
Do you do any reviews to see if he's doing as good of a job as you'd like him to?
The proof is in the pudding, I guess, in the sense of like if they're getting views on the shorts that I'm putting out, which they are. Yeah, the job is getting done.
Yeah, I would argue though, man, you don't know if it's getting done as good as it can be done.
Yeah.
Right? And no matter how autonomous you can make a person, not only does it behoove you with your standard and your quality of your product that you're trying to expose to the market, that you should check in on what the potential versus what the execution is, meaning you do it once and see what you can come up with versus what they're producing. That will give you a better product overall consistently. And number 2, any person in any position that feels full autonomy and no supervision will not be doing as good of a job as they can. And it's not because they don't want to. It's because whenever you feel alone, you justify shit to yourself. No matter what. There's days he doesn't want to do shit.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And because he has no supervision, his quality is acceptable. But is it the quality that it can be? And if there is no understanding that he will ever be, checked in on or whatever, like it's just, he's not doing it vindictively. It's just how teams are. It's just how humans operate. So I have all the faith in the world with my team, like all the faith. I would feel comfortable leaving for a month, and then everything it's still growing. I that's how much I believe in my team, but I owe it to them as their leader and potential person who can help them become better people. If they're hungry on getting better, well then that's what my role is, to help them be better. And if I never check their work, why would they ever? They wouldn't think that I'm there to help them get better. They would think that I'm here to try to use them to get jobs done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it won't only help you with your own confidence and understanding of how things are getting done, but it will also create a tighter partnership between you and them because they know you're involved.
So the challenge that I think I'm facing with this, or the challenge that's running through my head right now, is, so if I implement that, it's either going to take up so much time that I won't have time for literally will not have time for my other client. Like, I don't know.
I'm not saying you do it every day, dude. I'm saying you got to do
Check
it
in.
once in a while.
Okay.
And by that, I don't mean do the clips for him. I'm saying watch the podcast.
Right.
And where you would extrapolate something. And then you watch what he's produced from that same one and go, why did you omit this? Like, this is way stronger of a sentence than that. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So all I'm saying is watch those 5 episodes that week.
Definitely.
you know, because it's the craziest thing how different perceptions people have about things, where you will be in complete unity with where you're going, how you're trying to get there, the standards of the quality, and yet there's still room for differentiation.
Yep.
It'll blow your mind.
Definitely.
And then it'll be, and then he'll grow because he'll see where, like, the reason I'm so comfortable if, like, Natalie, for example, if I lift Natalie, for a month, it's because she sees what I see, because I have looked at what she does so much that she goes, I would have never thought you would have focused on that.
She knows your thought process now.
She sees what I'm going to see. She knows what I'm going to say before I say it. She already knows what she thinks is important, but then she goes, what would Bart think is important? And then she tries to marry the two, or you know what I'm saying? And that's only because of over and over and over and over and over and over again, we've collaborated on shit. And I've just asked questions as to, like, what were you thinking about this, or why did you do it this way? What have you seen it this way? This is the way I would like to do it because of this reason. And eventually, it's me. Like, when she does shit, it's partially me doing it too.
Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna implement that starting today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
and you'll see your relationship rise tremendously after doing that. It's weird from a boss standpoint to think that, like, they want you involved, but they do. Every single person wants the boss involved with what they're doing. Not micromanaging, but definitely involved. Yep. So that's it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Good
Life's
one.
Good.
All right, dude. Well, fuck it. Well, we're going to get some more guests on. We're going to try to get Larry Hagner in here. That's a big one. He runs a huge podcast on fathership.
Yeah, he's interviewed like Matthew McConaughey. He's interviewed all kinds of type
Big.
Yeah.
We got some opportunity to get some NFL players in here. So we're going to be in a big deal.
Cool. Don't be a pussy.
Consent?
Bye.
Bye!